Hey, kia ora koutou, Markie here, back with not quite a loose end, but I've got several ongoing series that I return to from time to time. Some more often and more promptly than others. But there's a series called Social Skills for Aspies and Askies, and this is a video in that series, and it's a really short and simple one, really. And it's about rudeness. There's been a lot of focus in previous videos about rudeness. But one thing that has occurred to me is that a lot of fellow Aspies and Askies very often take offence and often experience people as rude. I do, actually. I'm a sensitive little flower, and I quite often experience people as rude. So what would offend me often is another person, a neurotypical person, will probably be completely oblivious to. And I think possibly the reason for that is a lot of my social skills are in the form of kind of rigid rules that must be adhered to, and anyone that doesn't adhere to them is terribly rude. Whereas actually, we all learn manners slightly differently, and expectations and understandings of what's rude and what's okay and stuff like that. And I think most neurotypical people are probably much more tolerant of a range of behaviours. So for example, I get terribly offended by things. So for example, if somebody looks away if I'm being introduced to somebody and they shake my hand and they look away while they're shaking my hand, I feel hugely disrespected by that. The message I get from that is this person is not sincere, not interested in me. I don't think it's a good thing to look away while I'm not suggesting it's a good thing to look away while you shake hands. I'd say don't do that. Make eye contact while you shake hands. But if somebody does that, it doesn't necessarily mean all those things that I read into it. That is my kind of aspiness probably. So that's an example of that, really. And I've probably got hundreds of rules, and I think that's how we learn things sometimes, is through rules. And if we see somebody breaking the rule, it's like, oh, somebody's breaking the rule. Politeness is a much more organic and fluid and flowing and nuanced thing than we see it as. It's not, neurotypical people don't see it as a set of rules, not to the same extent. So somebody once said, I don't know where this quote comes from, but I think it's very true, that it causes as much harm to take offence as it does to give offence. So taking umbrage, I should say, and getting the hump and being offended and stuff. Sometimes that's legitimate, but I think it's good. We're generally going to be happier people if we're not in the habit of taking offence all the time. Lots of things that other people wouldn't notice. So just something to be aware of. And the other thing to be aware of is that put the boot on the other foot, really. That because of our lack of awareness, lack of social skills, lack of picking up on cues, things like that, and perceiving things in very different ways, neurotypical people, conversely, experience us as incredibly rude. So when we take offence at something, I think, pot calling the kettle black, how can you take offence to that when you do this? And I've heard that said about autistic people. Why is he so sensitive about that when he completely rides roughshod over me in the following ways? So bear in mind that we might be people in glass houses, throwing stones on an industrial scale. So give not offence and be not offended. That sounds very biblical, doesn't it? But I hope that's helpful. I'm going to post this in that series. So we've done a few bits on autism recently. We've done a Q&A, so I hope you've enjoyed that. And we will do more, but obviously there will be the general mix of things as well. So please give us a like, subscribe if you haven't, all the usual things, sign up on Patreon. Thank you very much for watching. Rangimarie.